everybody, and welcome to Primetime Modelling. Hello. Welcome back to part 2 of the Operation Market Garden build. Now I hope you're liking the series so far, and that you're liking and giving any comments in the section below. So as we can see, we've got the Dakota now basically fully assembled. The only thing that has to be done now is the undercarriage, but we've got all the glass in. Now you'll have to excuse me for this is going to make the rod is actually making things a little bit harder to actually show you what's going on, but I'll just try and do my best. But we've got all the glass in and masked up with maskol. Also the wing light lenses are in as well. I will be taking these propellers off and using the wider ones that will be actually sort of more accurate for the period, but these are all going to come off in a little while when we start doing the preliminary painting. So yeah, this is how we got so far. I'm not going to use the primer that I had before when I had the Williams, because we had a bit of problems with paint lifting. So I'm just going to go hopefully straight on with Tamiya. This has all been flattened down and cleaned, so hopefully we'll get enough bite on there. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll start with a sort of a pre-shade with the black once I've done the painted the actual sprayed the engines, and then we'll go from there. Okay, right, well we've had a bit of a jump. I sort of carried on with the pre-shading and actually put all the top coats on that I needed to do. Basically the same as what I'd done on the Mosquito build, so if you want to see how that was done, just look in the channel and find those. But basically gone over with a khaki with a slight sort of tint of white in there, just to sort of brighten it up a little bit. And once I'd been over with the dark panels underneath, I then sprayed over, and it's given us the shading effect that I've been after. The same as with the bottom, using REF sea grey, and as you can see there, that's giving us a bit of an effect as well, so that's all good. Also started putting the white on for the invasion stripes. Now if I can just bring that into focus a little bit better. Now these aren't going to be completely white. They've got parts of the paint showing through, only because basically when these were done on the original aircraft during the war, they were rushed on, because I think it was only about a couple of days before D-Day that they decided to put these on to distinguish the Allied aircraft from the Germans. So that was all hurriedly put on, mostly done with just chalk line and rollers or paintbrushes. So it's not going to be an immaculate paint job, so I've tried to recreate that. And then what I'll go on to now is to mask off to put the black stripes on. Okay, and we'll come back hopefully once that's all done. Okay, right, well as we can see, we've moved on. I've now got the black stripes on to complete the invasion stripes. Had a little problem here with the rear of the fuselage because of the compound curves, but we got there in the end. If I can just swing this around. Obviously this will be the way that you'll be seeing it from the display, but I've also put a clear or a semi-gloss coat over the top, just to help protect the paint job. And it's also now sort of just subtly bringing out some of the sort of the faded paintwork that I'd put in whilst I was spraying the surfaces, so we can see that. Also put the anti-glare onto the front of the nose, and also had to reposition the glass, because once I'd painted it I realised that it wasn't in line properly. But also now just done some panel lining with my homemade panel wash, so that's all coming along nice. What we'll do next is put the decals on, and then give it a quick light coat of gloss or semi-gloss again, and then we'll think about doing some either some pastel or oil work, just to sort of stain it up a little bit. But whilst that's all been drying, I've been doing these little boys here, which if I can zoom that in and also just bring that into focus. There we go. There we go. Right, as we can see, there's a couple of guys here. This one here is going to represent the cargo master, or the jump master, I should say. He'll be standing just inside the door of the aircraft at the rear. Just a standard khaki tunic with a black beret. And then the paratrooper here. Camouflage tunic and helmet. So we'll carry on with those. So yeah, all looking good so far. So what we'll do now is, next, as like I say, we'll carry on, put the decals on, and then we'll come back. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, and as you can see now that the Dakota's now practically finished. What we've done is now we've put all the antenna, the aerials and everything on, and a bit of a more weathering. You have to excuse the crangs and the bangs because the camera mount I'm using, but as we can see, got some chipping effects on the wings, especially over the D-Day stripes, over the fuselage as well, and on the other side as well. There we go. And also on the back as well. Oops, excuse the crangs. Okay, and added an aerial down the back there, which I've used is from one of these cheap sort of art string art type of kits that you can buy. Used some of the threaded cord, which if I can get that into the camera. Just unpicked a couple of threads. They come away quite easily, and then stuck that on, wait for that to dry, and then painted it up. Okay, now also as we can see here, I've got some strips. Now what these are is actually, if I can bring in, well, I haven't got it now, but what it is basically two bits of masking tape sandwiched with a piece of tin foil and then painted grey, but basically what it gives me is the option to sort of bend and hold an angle better than it would be without, and also if we want some sharp edges, then we can do so, or just help to sort of manipulate it whilst it's being glued into position. Okay, and also one of the guys that I've got coming out, done exactly the same, but also layered in a piece of wire, which you can see at the end here, and that will give me the necessary, or the actual ability to bend this into whatever shape that we want. And I've just sort of literally drilled a hole in the back and stuck him in. Okay, so yeah, all's looking good so far. What we'll do is we'll carry on doing some little bits and bobs, and I'm also now, although it's not on camera because that's not here, that's at my mother's house, where I've got at least some woodworking facilities to actually make the base. Okay, so next up we should see the beginnings of the base, and then what I'll do to actually make the diorama. And okay, right, let's carry on. Right, okay, well what I'm going to show you now is how I'm putting these strips in to indicate parachute release straps. Now what I've done is I've bent this into shape and put a little bit of super glue on the end to facilitate. And now what I'll try and do is I'll put this inside here and give that a little nip onto the side. Give it a few seconds. Okay, now what I'll be doing is obviously I'll be cutting these a little bit shorter and actually bringing them closer to the actual once that's glued properly, to once that simulates the flow of the airstream. but we're going to be doing two separate sections, because depending on which side of the aircraft that these came from, you would have some at the top which would have came from the opposite side, and then obviously some from the lower, from the actual door side, coming in from the bottom. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll carry on. I'll get another strip. Just got these just off the camera, just on some masking tape that I actually had these hanging up whilst drying. So I'll just make another bend in this one. Sorry, this is off camera, but just a little bit easier for me to do rather than try and do it in front of the camera. Right. So here comes another strip. What we'll do is we'll put one slightly above. We will have some of these slightly overhanging. Let's give that a bit of a nip there. Oops, that one's not wanting to play ball. We'll end up with some more super glue on the inside there and gluing those in, but we're getting the idea there. Okay, now what I will do is I'll just do a couple more, and I'll do the rest off of camera, and then we'll come back and show you the effect of what I'm hoping I'm going for. So just do another bend on the dot of super glue. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll put one down the bottom here this time. Oops. There we go. That's another one. I've got another 3 or 4 strips here, and then we'll cut those to length, and may even actually have enough there to put another couple in. As usually, I think it was probably about 18 or 20. So 18 to 20 troops that are actually dropped out of the airplane. So we'll see what we can simulate here. I'm bearing in course that we've got the guy already mounted on his release strap, so we've got to account for him as well. Being careful that I don't actually stick the super glue the tweezers to the aircraft as well, otherwise that will be a very funny looking diorama. I think what we'll do is we'll just do one more, and then we'll finish off off camera, and then come back and show you at least how the extended or the expelled chute straps look like on the aircraft, and then we'll go from there. Another drop of super glue, and again inside the door, like so. I think what we might do is we might just see if this young chap, no, is he going to come off? Yeah, I think we'll re-glue him, save me a bit of aggro later. So another dollop of glue, again go back in, There we go. Right, so I'll let those dry for a few seconds, and then what I'll do is I'll trim those, and then with some canopy glue we'll stick them to the side, fan them out just a little bit to simulate the actual airflow, and then we'll come back and show you how we got on. Okay, right, well, after doing that last segment, walked away for the evening, and then when I come back to it in the morning, I sort of took a look at it and thought to myself, slightly out of scale. So what I've done is I've took them off and made some new ones using artist canvas and some masking tape. Now I've got one here that's a spare, which if I can get into the camera without jogging it. But basically it's just cut a thin strip of the actual vinyl, the actual linen, and painted it beige, and then just with putting some masking tape on the end and painting it green to represent the chute pack. Okay, now it's also given me actually a little bit of an advantage now with the way that I can actually move these about for the airflow. So with a little bit more of canopy glue I can sort of move those about a bit more. Got to do the fella here, redo his chute, but yeah, I think that's slightly better now. So what we'll do is I think we'll class this as the end of video 2, and in video 3 I will back and show you how I'm progressing on the display stand. Now, as I said earlier, I've not had the facility to actually build this here. I've had to do this at my mother's house, so there's nothing been sort of shot on camera as such. So what you'll see is how far I've got, and then we'll go from there. But that's all in the next video. So I hope you're liking and subscribing. Any comments that you wish to make, please do so and put those into the comments box below. And until then, be good to each other, and go build a model. Bye for now. Bye bye.